All right, Mike, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me pretty
If
well?
I can hear you, if I can hear you good.
Okay. So there were a few interesting stories this week, and I wanted to make is the usual way I tackle these videos is that I'll take one story um, and then make a video about that, and then I'll move on to the next video, and then the next one, and then the next one. Um, that's becoming increasingly harder for me to do that simply because of time, among other things that I have going on. So this is the first time where I'm going to try it to where it's you and me, and we're going to talk about a few different topics together. The first major story that broke this week is that someone hacked CD Projekt Red and then stole the source code for Cyberpunk 2077 as well as bits of the source code from the Witcher games, which includes The Witcher 3 and I believe Gwent, the Gwent hard, what is it, the card game or whatever.
Uh,
And then they put the source code, the files, on the dark web for auction. And then earlier last week, the source code was sold for $7 million, reportedly. If that's the case, CD Projekt Red, they're in pretty bad shape right now.
very bad shape.
So, yeah, I wanted to bring this story to your attention because I wanted to know what your thoughts are on it and
I
where.
mean, it's absolutely crazy. But uh, even then, I feel like no sympathy for CD Projekt Red at all. They deserve every shit they have coming toward them. It's like, I mean, after what they did with Cyberpunk, I'm like, I just can't feel sorry for them at all. And just seeing something like this, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Like I wasn't expecting nothing like this at all either. All the stories that are coming up for Cyberpunk, I haven't been expecting, but this one, it's just absolutely crazy to me. But even after this is definitely isn't the end. More shit's definitely about to hit the fan for him too, probably in the future. So I don't think they can do anything else.
No, I mean, like when this broke, I wasn't like surprised by it at all.
Mhm.
Like Cyberpunk 2077 is just it's I think it was a big wake up call for a lot of companies in the gaming industry to stop basically trying to rip people off and bullshit and release half-ass products because there are long-term consequences. There are consequences on the level of people, these people, their livelihood being placed in jeopardy
Yeah.
if these products don't sell and they're not received well by the public. Cyberpunk 2077, it wasn't just like a big wake up call for gamers. It was also a big wake up call for gaming journalists who claimed that the game itself was great, even though it's not. But still had to admit that the state that the game was released in on last generation hardware, which is the PS4 and the Xbox One, which was the two primary platforms that the game was marketed for. Um, yeah, they even had to admit like this is unacceptable. And so
Yeah.
I find it very ironic that the company that made such a game just so happens to be the same company that was threatened with their information being leaked to the public. Like you said, I don't think this is the end of this situation. I think there's more there's more consequences above upon the horizon, and yeah, they deserve everything that they get.
Yeah,
As
and like you said, I'm really hoping something like this really, really stops the shitty practices going on in the gaming industry. That would be a really good if something like this has an impact like that. So I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, hopefully, but Yeah, I mean, it sucks for the people that, just the basic developers who have nothing to do with upper level management who work at
Yeah, for sure.
Project Red. I mean, that sucks. But, these guys have degrees. They can go and work for a different company if they so choose. Um,
Yeah,
they don't have to work for CD Project Red, so it's not like, oh, the end all be all or whatever. I'm not even really worried about that. I don't support company worship, like similar to celebrity worship. I don't worship the companies that make the games, these video games. All I care about are the games. I don't really care about the people playing the games. When I put my money down at retail to buy a game, be it physically or digitally, I'm paying for the game. I'm not paying for to meet someone who had a hand in developing these products. So that's not my concern. Yeah, that my concern is I want these products to be good when they release. And if Cyberpunk 2077, if the best thing that comes out of it is we get better games in the future, then great. Yeah, well, that's a situation that's currently still unfolding, as far as it's not a done deal. Far
yeah.
from it. And it might even get to the point where they don't release a next gen version of Cyberpunk. But at that point, even if they do, who's really going to be interested in it?
Yeah.
It's going to be a very small audience. So that's that story. Then we have, moving on. This is we have Anthem right here. Anthem was it's known to be one of the biggest failures of the eighth generation. Another game that had a great concept, that had a great presentation, and was pretty much ruined because EA wanted another games as a service title where they can profit off of long-term investment through microtransactions, and it backfired in their face. A big deal. And I remember when EA was, marketing Anthem. I had uploaded a video. The video is no longer on the channel, but I had uploaded a video talking about Anthem and how I wasn't going to buy it because it was a games as a service game, and I don't support games as a service video games. Like, I don't play Evolve. I didn't play that game. I didn't play Titanfall 1. I didn't play that. I didn't play Anthem. The only games as a service game I did play was the Avengers game. We already know how that turned out. So it's a very strange situation because Anthem is just it's a heartbreaking case where we have this game that had a lot of potential, and EA basically did nothing with it because they were just trying to use it as a vehicle to make easy money instead of actually making a game that had some artistic value to it. And the fact that it's a BioWare game and it was released under the BioWare name just makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, pending internal review. If EA deems that Anthem is no longer worth the investment, then they're just going to drop the IP.
Yeah.
What
I think it's gonna get dropped.
I think it's going to get dropped, and I think it should get dropped
Yeah.
because this should be another lesson for video game developers. Stop with the games as a service, the live service bullshit. Mobile gaming, moving in more into the arena of the AAA space. That's not something that gamers want. That's not something we
Yeah.
want ultimately, because it's going to have a wide negative repercussion, ripple effect on the industry as a whole. And so I don't want to see any more games like Anthem. I don't want to see any more games like Evolve. I don't want to see any more games like Titanfall 1. I don't want to see any more games like the Square Enix's bullshit Avengers game. I don't want to see games like that. If you want a multiplayer game, fine, make a multiplayer game. But don't make something that clearly, where the potential for a single player, a great single player experience is there, and you just ignore it just because you want to sell microtransactions. It's like, no, that's bullshit. IGN gave the fucking game a 6.5. I mean, that's pretty fucking bad. is IGN overrates every goddamn thing. So, because their journalists are just fucking idiots. But if someone from IGN gave Anthem a 6.5, I mean, clearly you know that's the level of quality that we're dealing with. What are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, when you brought it up to me, I was surprised. I'm like, I thought the game was already where I didn't even know they were still thinking about this game at all, bringing it up. I'm like, and you know, when it first, I remember the first trailer that came out for the game did look good, but you know, there was a lot of people who still were like, yeah, you know, trailer and everything looks good, but let's be honest, it's another EA game, and it's gonna have the same faults as usual. And they were definitely right about that. It did look like it had a lot of potential. I mean, it really did look great at first, but it's sadly that typical EA meme again. So it is what it is. I definitely see it getting dropped for sure, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to survive. Anthem died a very quick death, as these live service games usually do. And you know, some of these games have come, you know, turned around. Like No Man's Sky. Apparently, that's a lot better now than what it was when it first came out. The most infamous one is Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is legit a great game now. But you know, when it came out, you know, EA was trying to use that as a vehicle to sell microtransactions, and it backfired because people just love Star Wars that much, and you know, we don't want to see you know, Star Wars be used as a vehicle to you know, as a live service vehicle to sell microtransactions. So
Yeah, for sure.
you know, that's something they had to correct.
Yeah, they did. They really had to. They couldn't mess up the Star Wars name again.
No, that particular IP is just too big for EA, so they had to correct that. And then you know, we have games like Apex Legends, which is you know, very successful. Then we have other games like Fortnite, but it's like those games were clearly built for that. You know, you can't really see like a good single player coming out of those games, like a good single player experience. Which is why I don't think it's a problem with Apex Legends and Fortnite. But a game like Anthem definitely had potential to be a lot more than what it turned out to be, and so as a result, it died very fast. People dropped the game quick. It's a sad situation, but again, similar to Cyberpunk 2077, you know, this should be a lesson to, you know, game developers and publishers. Like, no one really wants games like this, you know, because games like this, they don't have longevity. You know, people will get bored of them very quickly because there's no depth to them, and there's no depth to them because the companies behind them, all they care about is making, you know, is making money. They don't care about delivering a good product. So it is what it is with Anthem. I really don't care because I never played the game. So but yeah, there's that. And on to the next story, we have the case of Grand Theft Auto 5. The Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold over 140 million copies. Now, I told you about this the other day.
Yeah.
It also set a record last year at the height of the pandemic for COVID-19, where it sold, I believe it sold another 10 million units since May of last year, and it's the most played game on I think on console and PC, or it's one of the highest games on both like Steam and console. When the game initially announced, it was like the fastest selling entertainment product of all time. Sold over 32 million units during its launch year, and which is unheard of in the gaming industry. Not even Call of Duty can make numbers like that. And then that's to add on to the fact that Red Dead Redemption 2 has sold over 36 million units worldwide. I mean, these numbers are unheard of for video games. These two games have outsold entire franchises. You know, especially Grand Theft Auto 5. It's outsold every video game console ever released except for the PlayStation 2.
Hmm.
It needs another 10 million units to catch up with the PS2. Yeah, that's just that's insane to me. You know,
It is for sure.
what
Like,
what are your thoughts in experience with Grand Theft Auto 5?
I mean, it's just crazy how long this game's been going. And just seeing them that launch trailer for the PS5 for it, I mean, it's just so funny to me. I'm like, I'm honestly ready for this game to die for GTA 6 to come out, but it's so crazy seeing how long this game survived, and just how much money they're just making off of it, and the amount of people just still buying it. And did you watch that trailer for the new DLC or whatever they had for it?
I did not.
Oh yeah, I mean, I watched it and I was like, I was so disappointed because I'm like, this is the content they're putting out, and people are still buying this many copies of this game. Because I mean, and it's just embarrassing, honestly, to me. I'm
Well, the reason it's doing
like
so,
I hate how they're only
oh yeah, go ahead.
like I hate how they don't pay attention to single player at all for the game either. It's just strictly online for them. I mean, I understand because it's a moneymaker, but I just really hate the direction they went with GTA 5.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Grand Theft Auto 5. I think it's a good game. I thought it was a good game when it came out, but definitely
Mhm.
highly overrated. And the single player, like the actual content of the single player, wasn't really there. You know, once you complete all the missions, there is literally nothing to do. And I beat the game
Yeah.
within 3 days after when it initially came out back in 2013. It took me three
Mhm.
days to finish the main story and all the missions and everything. And
Mhm.
some of the side activities weren't even worth it because you didn't really get a whole lot of money from completing them. And so
Mhm.
clearly their whole focus was Grand Theft Auto Online, which when GTA 5 originally came out, GTA Online was a disaster. Like it didn't have a good launch. Um,
Yeah. There was barely any content for online.
yeah, but since they've expanded it and have worked on it, and now it's the one thing that really everyone plays. And I just, at this point, Grand Theft Auto 5, and particularly, GTA Online, they're not slowing down anytime soon. So it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense on the business, on the business level, from the business perspective, to make Grand Theft Auto 6. It doesn't make
So
any sense at this point. I would like a Grand Theft Auto 6, but I don't see them um, trying to release something like that anytime soon. They're just,
yep. Sadly.
yeah, they're just making, too much money off of Grand Theft Auto Online, and it wasn't even, the single player part of the game is not even the draw. The draw is the online, and so
Yep.
as long as people keep playing Grand Theft Auto Online, we're not going to get a Grand Theft Auto 6.
Very sad.
I think it's crazy how an entire generation went by and there was no new Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah. It's absolutely wild with all the online content they're adding. I mean, just crazy. It just doesn't. I don't know, but I haven't been keeping too much track. But it's crazy to me with all the online content they release. They haven't like expanded the map or anything. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. GTA 5 has just been a disappointment for me.
Yeah, but hey, 140 million copies. Those numbers
Yeah.
matter. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say. Do you remember like with GTA 4? There was three separate DLCs for it, right? And they were all like story based as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, there were
I know
three.
there's Validate Tony. Yeah, the Validate Tony. I forgot the titles of the other two, but yeah, it's. I guess Rockstar doesn't want to go that way no more.
I guess not. They haven't released a single DLC story based DLC episode for Grand Theft Auto 5. The
Yeah.
only thing they've updated is Grand Theft Auto Online. So hey, it is what it is.
Oh,
So yeah, there's that story. Then we have X Play, which is returning on G4. G4 is returning; it's coming back. I think that it's a bit strange for G4 to come back unless it's going to be like a streaming thing, which I guess at this point it would have to be because television is in a very different place compared to what it was, back when G4 was a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, people don't watch TV on TV anymore. People stream shows and everything these days. So it's in a very different spot. But they do have some of the original people coming back, such as Adam Sessler of X-Play and Kevin Pereira of Attack of the Show. Both of them are coming back. And then they had an official reunion. They had a reunion right here where they had some of the people that were involved with G4 and a few new faces that had to get together. Here you have Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler from X-Play, Kevin Pereira and Olivia Munn, who's now like a Hollywood actress from Attack of the Show. These two I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
I think the girl is from Cheat, that show.
Oh wait, yeah, she is from Cheat. I almost forgot.
Yeah, and then him.
I did used to watch that kind of dumb.
Yeah, and then the guy, I don't know where he's from. He might be from Judgment Day or something.
Crazy how none of them changes in the slightest. They still look the same to me. Well, Adam Sessler is a little bit older, but everyone else still looks the same to me.
Yeah, I was about to say the same. Yeah, Adam Sessler looked like he about to enter into a retirement home in the next few years. Yeah, he looking a little bit rough, but everyone else looks great. Olivia Munn looks like she's in her 20s. Morgan Webb looks like she's in her like early or mid 30s. So everyone's looking great. They got Xavier Woods here from WWE. He has his own YouTube gaming channel where he brings on the WWE wrestlers outside their character. It's just them, as themselves playing video games and discussing video games. I've seen a few of his videos. It's good content, but I don't like the fact that he's affiliated with G4 because it feels weird to me. It feels like WWE's invading G4, and I don't like that at all. So yeah, I don't know how to really feel about that. But I'm not a fan of that. And then this guy, I'm not sure. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him before. Thoughts on G4 coming back? Thoughts on the reunion?
It's cool. I mean, I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, it was definitely a great show back in our day.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it all bringing it back. Not gonna watch it probably, or maybe I'll just stop by from time to time. I mean, it's cool if they're bringing it back, but those days are kind of over, so I don't really care too much at this point. But it's nice to see them all again.
Yeah, that's really my thoughts too. I don't think I'll probably tune in like once or twice just to see, what they do with it, but I don't think it's gonna have the same impact that it did back in the day. Because like I said, television was a bigger, it was in a different place back then. We didn't we didn't have streaming, we didn't have Netflix, we didn't have Hulu, and we didn't have Disney Plus and all these different streaming services. We didn't have Amazon Prime, and we didn't have all these different platforms. And people actively sat down and watched television from a cable box. Like those days, they're going away slowly but surely. And so G4, like I did like a lot of the shows that were on G4. Attack of the Show was my least favorite of the bunch. That's when they started moving away from the video game stuff and tried to resuscitate the channel by introducing non-video game related content on a channel that was supposed to be about video games. Yeah, it's very strange. I don't see it having the same impact that it did originally. But like I said, it's cool that they're bringing it back. And it's great to know that some of the original names that made G4 what it is still involved with it. Still going to be involved with it going forward. So yeah, ultimately I'm positive. I'm more optimistic about this particular story. But yeah, as you said, those days are pretty much over. So
Yeah.
the last piece, the last article is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart has been set for a June 11th release date. Now, from what I know, you haven't played any of the Ratchet and Clank games.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I played. I've been with Ratchet and Clank since the beginning, since the very first game on the PlayStation 2, and it's one of the best video game franchises in the entire industry. And it's one of the only franchises that hasn't been ruined by a decline in quality. It's one of the few franchises that's maintained its quality from generation to generation. Ratchet and Clank has been around since the PlayStation 2. Here we are on the PlayStation 5, and the series is still kicking. It's still going. That's pretty cool. And then the strongest armor from the best game in the entire series, the second game in the series, Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, or Ratchet and Clank 2, Carbonox armor in that game. They're bringing that back as a pre-order bonus for this, which is pretty cool. And then they have the pixelizer where you can it's like a gun that you fire at enemies and it turns them into pixels or whatever. That's pretty cool. They're bringing some of the nostalgic weapons and armor back for this next one. I'm definitely interested in this new character. This new character right here.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering because I've seen previews Ratchet and Clank, but yeah, I never seen that before. So I was wondering if that was like someone new they're introducing.
Yeah, that's a new character. I heard the character's name is Rivet, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know what her role is going to be. She's not the first female Lombax, because that's what Ratchet is. He's a Lombax. She's not the the first female Lombax in the series. There was the first female Lombax was Angela from Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. That's the only female Lombax that's been in the games. And then Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time went into Ratchet's backstory a little bit. And then you saw some more Lombaxes in that game, but that was a PlayStation 3 title. And Ratchet and Clank, there was a Ratchet and Clank game released in the PlayStation 4 era, but it was just a half-ass reimagining of the original, which is obviously far superior. So this is actually a completely brand new game, new story and everything. So yeah, my only problem with this is that it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. The only way that you can play it is by purchasing a PlayStation 5. Problem there is that first of all, PlayStation 5 games, what they're retailing for is absolutely ridiculous. $70 at retail.
Yeah, that's wild.
Brand new. That's crazy. I love Ratchet and Clank, but that's a tall order right there.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, for a new video game. Like I said, I have no doubts that the game's going to be great, but $70 price tags is right now, and it's just like, come on. And then the PlayStation 5 itself is virtually impossible to fucking purchase for most people. And that's mainly because they've refused to sell these consoles in store. And their excuse last year was coronavirus. We don't want a bunch of people gathering up and going crazy over these consoles. But it's like, here we are in the next year, and they haven't permitted these retailers to sell them in store. So the only way you can get them is purchase, the Xbox Series X or the Series S or the PlayStation 5. The only way you can get them now is to purchase them online on the internet. And the problem there is bots and other people, will cause the consoles to sell out within seconds, literally. Farthest, certain people have gotten is like they'll put a console in their cart, and then by the time they try and move forward with the purchasing process, the console has sold out already.
Yeah.
So I think they should have released this game as as a multi-gen release. Like it should have also been released on the PlayStation 4 because I definitely would have purchased it. But even with my great love for Ratchet and Clank, I I'm really not interested in the PlayStation 5 right now. I might get it this year again, but I'm not. Right now. I'm just not. I don't really have any interest right now at the moment. So unfortunately, I think this is a game that a lot of people are going to miss, and that's a shame. Next gen consoles, they're not selling any better than last generation, the last generation consoles. So yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this. Thoughts on Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart?
The game looks pretty cool. I mean, I've actually, it was back in well, when the PS2 was out. I played it before, but it was only a demo. It was back when they used to have like these PS2 game cases where they included like multiple games on one disc, but it was all a demo for one. And it was one of the Ratchet and Clank games I had demo for. It was pretty cool. It sucks I never really got the chance to really play all the other games because it does look like a good series. So I did miss out on that. And this one looks pretty good too. $70 price tag. That's yeah, that's a lot of money though. I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then you have to have a PlayStation 5 in order to play it in the first place. So
yeah.
I mean, it comes out June the 11th, so that's like in the middle of the summer. The next generation console should be more readily available by then, because one of the problems that they're having is that there's a lack of chips to produce them, and part of that is because of the coronavirus and everything. But by then, these consoles should be in stores at that point. Yeah, just I don't know, like I said, if I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 this year or not. Ratchet and Clank is definitely leaning me more towards the direction of purchasing it, but I think I'm going to wait and see how Returnal turns out, and then make my decision based off of that. I'm not sure if you've seen gameplay for Returnal.
Yeah, I remember. I think we talked about that one game before.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We did. I remember this one.
Yeah, that comes out in late April, so we'll just have to see how that turns out. But yeah, moving on to the last little bit of information. There was a new trailer for Black Myth Wukong. Actually, I was thinking of us just watching the new trailer on YouTube.
Sure.
But now I'm thinking I'm just going to play the video on an on-screen player instead of watching it here on YouTube. I think it would be easier that way. Bear with me. All right, so here is the new trailer for Black Myth Wukong. We're gonna watch it together. So, yeah, the game still looks great.
Yeah, it's still looking great.
Some of these things, I'm not saying they can't pull it off, but some of these things is like there's a lot going on screen. Like this part right here. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm just wondering how they're gonna pull all this off. It looks like all of this is stuff that's already been developed.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a vertical slice or like it's a bullshit ass trailer or whatever. This looks like authentic gameplay footage to me.
Yeah.
And so that's something I can say about it, that that it does look like it's genuine and they're actually selling the game and not selling a fantasy basically. But yeah, man, the game definitely looks fantastic still.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What are your thoughts on?
I I'm with you as well. Game does still look fantastic. Going back to like when we first watched together, yeah, the enemies are still looking pretty cool and unique. The fighting looks great too. I'm loving like the transformations too. I really can't wait when the full game comes out to see all of them. Because I mean, it really looks like there's going to be a lot to that. Uh, I think these are even more new ones compared to the last trailer too. So it looks like this game's going to be having a lot going on. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, this, like I said, when we were talking about this the first time, this looks to be like the game that's really gonna, potentially like start like a revolution in the
Yeah,
industry and actually, you know, actually become like a one of those rare games that other video game developers, try and copy and emulate.
yeah,
And we've had franchises like that before. We've had that with Assassin's Creed. We've had that with Batman Arkham, and we've had that with Dark Souls, the Dark Souls games. And so this looks to be like another one of those. The same thing happened to with The Witcher 3 and The Last of Us. It looks to be like one of those games that you know is pretty unique, and everyone just for the most part unanimously loves the game so much. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I hope they can pull it off. And yeah, man, Black Myth Wukong is looking like the true next gen game. That we
yeah.
want to play. So like I said, hopefully it turns out well. But yeah, that's the new trailer for Black Myth Wukong. I actually did search up. I did search up the other game that we were talking about, Lost Soul Aside. I think they expanded it or whatever, and they're adding some. They're still working on it. They're still developing some new areas for it, but there hasn't been an update on that game in so long. So hopefully it's not vaporware at this point. That looked great too.
Yeah,
Um, like a faster version of Devil May Cry, but like 10 times crazier. So great trailer. What are your if you have any last thoughts?
I'm with you. It's looking fantastic. Can't wait to see the final product. Hopefully, there's no issues. But I think so far from what they've shown us, I mean, it really looks like true gameplay. So
Right.
my worries, I kind of don't really have any worries, but you never know. But hey, I'm keeping it positive.
With this one, yeah, yeah, and you and I are usually hyper critical about these things, so we're saying it looks great. Shit looks great. So
Yeah,
um, yeah, I can't wait for it. So that wraps up this discussion. If I come up with well, not if I come up with, but if there's any other stories, interesting articles or whatever that I come across over the next week or so, uh, you know, we'll discuss it and I'll post a video about it on my channel. So
uh,
yeah, that wraps it up for this week as far as game related news. There was the live action live Last of Us casting that I told you about, but I'm pretty much over The Last of Us after the second game, so I'm not gonna really focus on making content for a show that I don't plan on watching, basically. So, but anyway, that wraps it up for this week. Great having you back again, Mr. Mike. Can't wait till the next discussion.
thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely.